Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Van Fossen. So we're going to begin now with some exercises. Now, as I guide you through these, I'm not somebody who's practiced a lot of yoga, and I don't have a lot of flexibility. So it'll be kind of nice for some of you to see me not look all that great and flexible as I do these exercises. Also, you can feel free to laugh at me if I look silly sometimes. That's okay too. So we're going to begin, and we're going to start here with our palms together. And I'm going to raise my hand up, palms together like this, watching as my hands go up, and then I'm going to breathe out as I come back and resume back into center position. I'm going to repeat that again, raising my hands up, and then exhale as I come down. One more time, up. And down. Great. Now what we're going to do is a quick ankle and hip exercise. So if you can see me down here, I'm going to scoot forward in my chair. My feet are flat on the floor here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a heel raise and a toe raise, and I'm going to kind of walk myself out to the side. So I'm going to go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Now I'm all the way out to the side here, feeling a stretch on the inside of my leg. Now I'm going to walk it back, just like I did on the way out. So this is kind of a nice way to get the ankle and the hip moving at the same time. So we'll repeat that. There's a little bit of coordination that you need to be able to do as well. Good. I'm going to do another one here on the right leg. Okay, great. So that's the right leg. I'm going to do the same thing again, but now on the left. So I'm going to raise my heel up. So you might notice as you do this that one side feels differently. And that's often going to be the case when we're doing exercises and moving our extremities separately. One side might feel stronger, one side might feel more flexible. So here we go. Another time on the left leg, just walking it out. You notice my hand position, I'm just kind of comfortably have my hands sort of on my thighs. You could do whatever feels right for you. You could have your forearms resting on your thighs as well. It's really not that important what you're doing with your hands. So let's do one more of those. Heel toe, walking my leg out to the side. Okay, so I've got some good stretching going on now. So with that in mind, we'll come back here to kind of start position. Now we're going to work on a little bit of rotation that we're going to feel a little bit of a stretch in our trunk as well as in our hips. So for this one, I do kind of need to scoot forward a bit here, and I'm going to be going this way with my legs like this and kind of feel that rotation there in the hip. I'm kind of holding on to the chair. So I'm pretty far out here. So then I'm going to come back and kind of go off to this side. You can kind of see that I'm really far out. So we'll do a couple of these. Kind of call this sort of like a windshield wiper type of thing. I don't have a real name for this. Good. And then we'll come back to the start position. So that's a nice little hip stretch. Now we're loosened up. We're gonna go back up to the upper extremities again. So we're gonna kind of go back and forth. So this next one we're gonna begin sitting up nice and tall, kind of shoulders back. I'm gonna have my arms up like this, tucked in at my side with my elbows bent, and my palms are facing forward. So from this position, this looks kind of like a W if you were looking at it. And now we're gonna do something like an angel wing movement where I lift up, maintaining that elbow bend, and then just kind of touch my fingertips together at the top. And I'm kind of keeping that plane so my shoulder blades are still kind of squeezing together back there. So you're gonna feel a lot of the muscles of the shoulder blade area and that scapula. Doing some really good work here. You can look up if you want to as well. come back down. I want to be breathing as you go. You notice I'm talking, so it's a little bit hard for me to demonstrate that. We're gonna go up again. Touch the fingertips together. Woo. And we're coming back down. It's a good one. So we just did a few of those, and I already feel some fatigue in those muscles. Okay, excellent, nice job. So we're gonna move into a little bit of a shoulder extension exercise, as well as add a bit of forearm movement as well. So I'm gonna begin, just have my hands out in front of me, and then I'm gonna bring them behind me, and then once I get them back here, I'm just gonna do a little bit of rotation with my forearms, my hands and wrists, like this while I'm in that extension. So I'll do a couple more of these, and then I'll come back up, and then we're gonna do another one. We're gonna come back down and do some more, just little kind of rotations. And again, now you're feeling those shoulder blades again, those muscles kind of lower down perhaps. So then we'll come back up. Let's do one more of those. Come down, nice extension. My chest kind of comes forward. You can see that. All right, great. So that's a nice exercise there for the shoulders. So from here, we're gonna move into kind of a trunk stretch. So what we're gonna do here, and this is something I'm sure you've done in different positions. So I'm still scooted forward here, just kind of nice upright position. But I'm gonna raise my left arm up in the air, and then I'm gonna lean over to the side. So if you can see that. And then this forearm is just kind of tucked in on my thigh, just to give myself a little overpressure to kind of fulcrum off of and feel that stretch. And I'm gonna come back down. So you could alternate and just go to the other side and do it. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just maintain this trunk lean to the right with my left arm up. Really feel that stretch. Anytime I'm doing a stretch like this, I wanna keep it, moderate to gentle. I don't need to max out on my stretch right away and crank into it as far as I can possibly go and get, kind of a discomfort response. I kind of want to ease into this and just keep it gentle. And you're in control of that. So you're gonna go as far as you feel like until you feel that stretch, and just kind of hold there. It might be right here. Somebody might feel that stretch a little further. It's all just dependent kind of on how our flexibility is. We're all different. So let's bring our hand back down, maybe do a couple of shoulder shrugs, kind of wiggle it out a little bit. Loosen up, and we're gonna do the same thing again. Trunk lean, but now I'm gonna lift my right arm up, and I'm gonna lean to my left, and I got this left forearm on my thigh. Just feel that stretch. Feels good. And that's the idea. I don't want this to be excruciating. And I'm gonna come back down. I tell people that because oftentimes people, when they're stretching, they think they need to go to the maximal amount of a stretch. And that can get pretty uncomfortable. And then maybe you don't want to do it anymore because you didn't like it. That's not really the idea. We want to be able to move. We don't necessarily need to make it torturous. So keep that in mind. Keep it gentle. Just feel the stretch. Over time, as you are doing flexibility type of movements and stretches, you'll notice that you start to tolerate the range of the movement a little bit more. And then you can start to go a little bit further, but still feel it the same way. It'll still feel gentle to moderate, even though you're going further. But that takes a little bit of time for those adaptations to take place. So you get the idea. So now we're gonna do a little bit of strength exercises. And what I'm gonna do is use a couple of water bottles. If you have some light dumbbells, you can use those. But most of us have water bottles, either store-bought packaged water bottles or maybe some reusables like I have here. So we're gonna begin by doing some bicep exercise. So I'm gonna bring both hands out like this, so it's kind of like the bottles are tilted to the side, and then I'm just gonna bring them up in this classic kind of exercise that we've always seen. You can picture like a Arnold Schwarzenegger standing in front of the mirror, and I won't do his voice. I was about to, but I won't. And we come back down, and then kind of squeeze that muscle at the top. Don't squeeze it too hard though. You don't want to cramp up. Just give it a nice little extra squeeze there at the top. So we'll do a few more. Another way you could do it as you come down, rather than having your arms rotated out like this, you could have them rotated like this. And then as you come up, this is just another kind of version of it. And when you're doing bicep curls, there's actually a lot of different kind of versions and angles that you can do. So I'm just kind of showing you a modification. Maybe it feels better. Maybe you tolerate it better, so give it a try. Let's do one more. Okay, good. Now we're gonna keep these water bottles as kind of our resistance, and we're gonna lean forward like this. You can put your hands or your forearms on your thighs, and then I'm gonna drop down where I'm leaning forward, and I'm gonna bring my elbows up like this with the water bottles. Bring them up as far as you can. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, pulling the water bottles up. Here we go. And again, you're breathing. A lot of times in this, I would be breathing out. Let's say I'm breathing in on the way down, and then I'm going to breathe out on the way up. Something like that. Let's do a couple more of these. And then from this position, we're going to go right into exercise. From this position, we're going to lean forward, and then we're going to straighten our elbows behind us like this. This is going to be working on the opposite muscles of the biceps. Now we're looking at tricep muscles, those muscles that help us straighten our elbow. So this is a good way to do that. We'll do a couple more. I know we've been leaning forward. You can see that I'm kind of keeping my head up and I'm looking kind of forward. That sort of keeps my back a little bit straighter, as they would say, as opposed to if I'm down here like this. You could certainly do it this way, that would be okay. Just depends on comfort. And I think for purposes of talking to you right now, I'm trying to keep my head looking forward so I can have my face forward. But you could certainly look down if you wanted to. Okay, good. So that's a nice exercise for the triceps. We've got another one that we're gonna do, still with the water bottles as our resistance. We're gonna put our hands overhead. So we're gonna do kind of like an overhead press. So you can do this, it doesn't have to look exactly like I'm doing it, but essentially I'm going to be pushing my water bottles up like this, and then I'm going to be coming back down. So this is kind of like that windshield wiper that we did, but we were just adding a little bit of resistance. It looks a little different. I'm not going down as far. I'm going to go maybe to here and then press up. I'm going to show you a single arm version of this next, but we'll do a couple more here with both arms moving at the same time. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, up, and then we'll bring it down. So let's take a look if we wanted to do one arm. So you might do one arm, let's say you only have one water bottle. Or let's say one shoulder isn't moving as well, and it's just better to separate them so that you can just concentrate on one at a time. So that might be another reason. So let's start with raising it up like we did before, but now one twist you could do here is you could then come at an angle, I guess like you're putting on a seatbelt. Come back down like this, and then come back over. So that's just a little variation you could do. Kind of creating this angle, which will also get a little stretch. It's nice to do exercises where you're kind of getting a little bit of different things at the same time. So getting a little bit of muscle activation, also getting a little bit of stretch. So we're doing good. Let's do another one here. We're having a good time pushing up. At an angle like putting on the seatbelt. Okay, good. Let's do that same thing on the other side. But let's say now my left shoulder isn't moving as well. It's not as comfortable. So I'm going to kind of show like a modified version, sort of. So if I'm going up, but it kind of hurts, I might just go up to this amount. Let's say maybe I'm not able to go all the way, so I'm working on it, and then I can come back down like this. Bring it over. Kind of push it up. Like this, and then back down. Another idea is maybe you're not at a point where adding resistance really makes sense for you as you're trying to recover on this side. So maybe I would just go without any resistance, and then I might even be able to kind of push up a little bit higher. okay? Good. So we've got a couple more exercises we're gonna do before we conclude today. So let's get the water bottles again to use as some resistance. So for this one, I'm gonna start with this position here. My elbows are bent, they're tucked in at my side. And then you see the water bottle, the water bottle lids are facing out. So then I'm gonna rotate out, my chest kind of comes forward. So right here, I feel the kind of the end of that range of motion. From here, I'm gonna just push my hands out to the side. So that's a good one there. And you actually feel the biceps kind of getting a stretch. And then I'm gonna come back in to the start position. I'm gonna rotate out. And I'm gonna push my hands out. Kind of push them out as far as they go, really straighten out the elbows. And then I'm gonna bring them back in. Let's do a couple more of these. As you're practicing any of these exercises, you could break this video down into just doing a few of these exercises. It's kind of nice to have a recording because you can pause it whenever you want to. You can fast forward it if you wanted to get to a different section of the video to try a different exercise. Maybe you don't want to do all of these, but you have a few in mind. So that gives you a little bit more freedom and control to kind of move through the video and find the exercise you want to do. Let's do one more. Okay, good. So I'm going to set these down and we're going to do one more exercise combining the arms, the upper extremities, and the legs, the lower extremities, getting some rotation, stretch, a little muscle activation. I'm going to kind of shake it off a little bit and reset. So here I'm going to begin with my right arm in front of me with my elbow bent like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the movement of my leg and arm together. So I'm going to bring my arm out like this and my leg out at the same time. You could follow it with your hands as well. That probably is a good way to do it. So let me demonstrate that. So I'm going to just follow my hand as I rotate out with my neck. Now I'm adding a little bit of neck movement. I'm trying to keep this shoulder from rotating so my chest is still, facing forward. So it looks like that. Let's do another one. Out to the side. Back. Let's do one more and then we'll switch. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'll bring my left arm out in front of me, my elbow bent. And again, you just go up to the amount that feels comfortable enough for you. If you have some discomfort, you can kind of ease into some of that discomfort if it's not too uncomfortable. Come back to the side. And one more time. I feel a little more stiff on this side. I'm not moving as smoothly. You may notice that. At least that's how it feels to me at the moment. Okay, nice. We made it through the chair exercises today. Thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you find some of those movements useful for you and have some value as you're trying to get better and get more exercise. Thank you.